Popular social activities within Liverpool across the centuries. Over the generations, social activities engaged in by our ancestors has altered considerably. In earlier years, leisure activities were more community-orientated, but the changing landscape during the years of the Industrial Revolution led to activities being more often defined by class than by community. In the 17th century, blood sports such as bull baiting and cock throwing were extremely common at local events, such as festivals. However, this was accompanied by a great deal of public drunken behaviour and violence. It is clear that festival and fairs were originally community-orientated events. These fairs and festivals later evolved into gentry-formed, members-only gentlemen clubs, such as the Royal Society founded in 1660. Its members were physicians, philosophers, and other men of science who met regularly to see demonstrations of the latest scientific advances. At the end of the 18th century, sea bathing became fashionable among the upper and middle classes in England. This is because it was believed that it was good for your health. The opening of two popular football clubs in the late 19th century became a key social activity amongst the people in Liverpool. Everton was founded in 1878 and Liverpool FC in 1892. Everton was formed so that the members of the Methodist Church in Everton could play sport year-round, as cricket was only played in the summer. Liverpool FC was later founded following a dispute between the Everton Committee and John Holding, club president and owner of the land at Anfield. A long dispute between the two teams followed. The Industrial Revolution in the 19th century brought change, technology and innovation to our ancestors' world, and anything new or unusual would draw crowds. The public of the 19th century were willing to pay to view various exotic animals who performed, or curiosities, such as Mrs. Bark, the Nottinghamshire giantress. The introduction of railways and ever-decreasing fares made travel and seaside holidays affordable for the working class. In 1850, Brighton's popularity as a holiday destination seemed assured, with 73,000 passengers arriving at the Brighton railway station in 1 week. Other interesting entertainment activities include Central Library was built in 1852, William Brown Library was built in 1860, and Picton Reading Room was built in 1879. Clearly, this demonstrates the start of the wider interest of developing knowledge in Liverpool that began with the increasing number of schools in the 1820s. As a consequence of this rise in literacy and incomes, and at the same time mail service became reliable and affordable, newspapers and magazines began to be readily available. Previously a music hall, the Liverpool Playhouse was developed into a theatre in 1911. This is because the Liverpool Repertory Theatre Limited could not afford to build a new theatre, so instead it acquired the Playhouse. The building was actually only named as the Liverpool Playhouse in 1916. During the early years of the 20th century, the theatre was largely targeted at the middle and upper classes. However, The Liverpool Playhouse Theatre had an upper tier aimed at the working class, who could purchase cheap standing tickets. The theatre later became more relatable to a wider range of people. For example, kitchen sink dramas developed after the post-war period. There was a greater desire for ordinary people to be able to relate to the theatre productions. Kitchen sink dramas showed working class life in a level of detail that was still unusual. In the 1980s, after World War I, the Albert Dock was redeveloped and turned into an area of bars, shops and restaurants. The Beatles formed in 1960 and were quick to become a success, with their first of a record number 15 British #1 singles following quickly after the formation of the band. Founded in Liverpool, the band are regarded as the foremost and most influential act of the rock era. Many cultural movements of the 1960s were assisted by the Beatles' continued commercial and critical success. For example, the British invasion of America was led by the Beatles and then closely followed by bands such as the Rolling Stones. It is clear that Liverpool was dubbed the European capital of culture due to the events that occurred in the late 20th century. In 1994, the National Museum of Liverpool opened the Transatlantic Slavery Gallery, the first of its kind in the world. This gallery has achieved huge visitor numbers and made a great impact, as it represented the desire for people to understand the Liverpool heritage. The National Wildflower Centre opened in 2001, which contributed to Liverpool being dubbed the European Capital of Culture in 2008. The International Slavery Museum, located in Liverpool, opened in August 2007 and aimed to focus on the experience of individuals using the narratives of the enslaved and those involved in the trade. They included a shrine to the ancestors of the enslaved as a quiet area for contemplation and reflection. Leisure activities such as shopping have become highly popular in the 21st century due to the increase in disposable incomes. Liverpool One, a shopping and leisure complex, was opened in 2008 in order to meet with this new trend. Both Liverpool One and the International Slavery Museum were opened in conjunction with Liverpool being awarded the European Capital of Culture. So, why has social activities changed over time? It is clear that social activities have changed through the centuries as a consequence of developed ideas, technology, and living standards. For example, by the 21st century, both technology and disposable incomes have reached an all-time high, allowing for a range of new leisure activities, such as shopping. This is now indulged by all classes.